A man may believe he is in control, his job steady, his relationships balanced, his routine unshaken. But what he never admits, not even to himself, is that there exists a hidden place inside him, a silent space no one has ever touched. Until one day, without warning, someone appears, and with nothing more than a glance, a presence, an energy, she unlocks it. He doesn't understand it, he can't explain it, but he feels it. And from that moment, nothing inside him will ever be the same. Carl Jung warned that the soul does not fall for what is obvious, but for what is symbolic. And when that symbol appears in a man's life, it doesn't ask permission. It enters like a shadow, a mirror, a secret force that rattles into his core. Before we go deeper, quickly hit subscribe to SYC Soul and turn on the bell so you don't miss what is coming next. Now imagine this man again. Outwardly, nothing has changed. He speaks as usual. He works as usual. He laughs as usual. But inside, he is unsettled. Something has been awakened that he thought didn't exist. A quiet stirring, almost like an ancient memory. And strangely, it's not about beauty, not about desire. It's about recognition. His soul feels mirrored, as if it has seen a part of itself reflected in another being. This is where Jung's insight becomes so haunting. He believed that when the unconscious meets its reflection in the outer world, it responds with intensity that logic cannot explain. It is not falling in love in the ordinary sense. It is being pulled by a force that belongs to a deeper realm. But here lies the paradox. When a man is touched at this level, he doesn't always lean closer. In fact, many times he withdraws. He hides behind reason, distance, even coldness. Why? Because this awakening terrifies him. It touches the place he guards most fiercely, the part of himself he does not control. And so the mystery grows. What is this force that can disarm even the strongest man? Without a single word? Without a single touch? Why does it change the rhythm of his soul in silence, leaving him restless even when he tries to forget? When Jung spoke of the unconscious, he described it as a vast ocean hidden beneath the surface of the self. A man may live his whole life sailing calmly on the surface, believing the waters are safe and predictable. But deep below, currents are moving, forces are waiting, symbols are alive. And when someone appears in his life carrying the right symbol, the waters rise, the hidden currents break through, and suddenly he is pulled into a tide he cannot resist. This is why such encounters feel both magnetic and unsettling. It is not the person alone that shakes him, it is what she represents. To his unconscious, she is not merely herself. She becomes an archetype, a symbol, a key that unlocks what he has long buried. Jung called this the anima, the feminine image within a man's soul. When he meets someone in whom he sees even a spark of this image, the effect is overwhelming. And here lies the real mystery. This awakening doesn't announce itself with fireworks or grand gestures. It comes silently, sometimes in the smallest of moments. A glance, a few words, a presence that feels strangely familiar, almost as if he has known her before, though he cannot explain how. His mind tells him one story, but his soul whispers another. From that moment, a man is caught in a strange conflict. One part of him wants to move closer, to understand what this feeling is. Another part of him wants to run, to cover it, to pretend nothing happened. He may even convince himself that it was nothing at all. Yet deep down, he knows something has been stirred that cannot be undone. And this is where Jung's insight cuts deep. The soul recognizes what the mind denies. That is why the experience lingers. Even if the man tries to silence it, even if he hides behind logic or distance, the memory of that silent moment follows him like a shadow. But here is the question we must explore. Why does the soul choose that moment, that person, that symbol? Why not anyone else? Why does one presence out of thousands have the power to stir what has been asleep for years? Carl Jung believed that nothing in the soul happens by chance. The unconscious does not randomly choose who will touch us. It selects with precision, weaving together symbols, archetypes, and hidden needs we may not even be aware of. When a man encounters a woman who awakens him, she is not just herself in his eyes. She becomes the living image of something his soul has been seeking, perhaps for years, perhaps for a lifetime. This is why such moments feel uncanny. The recognition is too deep, too sudden, too powerful to be explained by ordinary attraction. He may try to dismiss it, tell himself it is coincidence or imagination, but the impression refuses to fade. It clings to him because it does not belong to the rational world. It belongs to the symbolic. Imagine this. A man sits across from someone he has only just met. The conversation is casual, even ordinary, but something about her gestures, her voice, or perhaps the silence between words begins to echo inside him. He doesn't know why, but he feels exposed, as if she has reached into the hidden chambers of his being without trying. And though nothing dramatic has happened, he cannot shake the sense that something important has begun. Here's the paradox Jung revealed. What awakens the soul is rarely what we expect. It is not necessarily beauty, charm, or desire. It is something far more mysterious, a symbolic resemblance, a fragment of the archetypal image he carries within. This is why the impact is so profound. He is not responding only to her. He is responding to his own unconscious being reflected back at him. And yet, this recognition does not always bring peace. More often, it brings turbulence. The man may find himself restless, distracted, unable to focus. He may even resist the pull, distancing himself in an attempt to regain control. But inside, he knows he has been marked. So the deeper question arises, if she is a mirror of his inner image, what exactly is being reflected? What part of himself has come alive through her presence? This is where the mystery thickens. Because what Jung discovered is that the image a man sees is not only about love, it is also about his destiny, his wounds, and the path his soul longs to walk. When Jung explored the unconscious, he uncovered a truth that most people never dare to face. The figures we meet in life are often mirrors of what we carry inside. A man does not only see her, he sees parts of himself reflected in her presence. And this is why the experience shakes him so deeply. It is not just attraction, not just emotion, it is recognition. But recognition of what? That is where the mystery begins to tighten. Sometimes what she reflects is light, beauty, possibility. Other times it is shadow, wounds, unfinished battles within him. And this is why Jung warned that such encounters are not always gentle. They can feel intoxicating, but they can also feel dangerous because they awaken not only what he longs for, but also what he fears. Imagine a man who has spent years hiding from his own depths. He builds a life of order, of logic, of control. Then suddenly, without warning, her presence pulls open a hidden door inside him. What comes out is not only longing, but also everything he has suppressed, dreams he abandoned, emotions he never admitted, truths he locked away. Her image does not create these things, it only activates them. And that is why he feels as though she has power over him, when in truth, the power belongs to his own unconscious. This explains why some men pull away when faced with such an awakening. It feels too much, too overwhelming. The unconscious demands attention, and the man, fearing he might lose himself, resists. He tells himself she is only human, that he should not overthink, that it is nothing. But no matter what words he uses, the feeling remains, haunting him silently. And here lies the paradox Jung wanted us to see. The unconscious does not care for logic. It does not care for timing, circumstances, or convenience. When the symbol appears, the awakening happens whether the man is ready or not. So the question grows darker. If this experience is truly about the man's own soul, then what is her role? Is she only a mirror, a messenger, an accidental spark that set fire to his depths? Or is she something more, someone meant to stay, to guide, to transform. Jung described the anima as more than just an inner image. It is the soul's hidden voice, the bridge between a man's conscious self and his deeper unconscious. When she appears outwardly in the form of a woman, it is never just coincidence. She carries the weight of this archetype, and through her, the man encounters what he has long denied within himself. This explains why her presence feels so mysterious. She is not only herself, she becomes a symbol, a portal to something greater. Through her, he feels emotions he never allowed, dreams he never dared, and truths he never spoke. He may resist it, he may question it, but the impact remains undeniable. And here is the unsettling part. The anima does not always appear in the way a man expects. Sometimes she shows up in a fleeting connection, a brief encounter, even a stranger who leaves an impression that lingers for years. Other times, she enters his life and stays, reshaping everything. In either form, her power is the same. She awakens what lies hidden. Before we dive deeper, pause for just a second. If you're drawn into this exploration, make sure you subscribe to SYC Soul. Hit the bell so you never miss what's coming, and share this video with someone who might need it. Now, back to Jung. He believed that the anima holds both light and shadow. At her highest, she can inspire creativity, vision, and even spiritual awakening. At her darkest, she can trap a man in illusion, obsession, or despair. This duality is what makes her so dangerous, yet so necessary. For the man who resists her, life becomes smaller, emptier, more mechanical. But for the man who dares to face what she awakens, life opens into dimensions he never imagined. And this is why Jung insisted, what matters is not the outer woman herself, but the inner transformation she sparks. She may never know the effect she has had. She may never intend it, but to him, she is the key to a door he cannot ignore. So the question lingers. When a man feels this awakening, is it a gift or a curse? Does it lead him closer to his true self? Or does it risk tearing him apart? Jung warned that when the unconscious rises, it does not arrive politely. It does not knock. It does not wait. It breaks through. And when it does, a man finds himself tested in ways he never expected. The woman who awakens him becomes more than a presence. She becomes a mirror of everything he has not yet mastered within himself. This is where danger enters. Because what she awakens is not only beauty, inspiration, or longing, it can also be chaos. His hidden fears, his unresolved wounds, his unacknowledged desires all rise at once. To him, it feels as if she holds the power to unmake him. In truth, it is his own soul demanding to be faced. Think of a man who has built his life on reason, control, and discipline. Suddenly, in her presence, he feels emotions that make no sense. His logic fails him, his control slips. He finds himself restless, consumed, even haunted. He may dream of her, think of her at unexpected times, feel pulled toward her in ways he cannot justify. This is not coincidence. Jung would say it is the unconscious crying out, refusing to remain silent any longer. But here lies the paradox. A man often mistakes this force as belonging to her. He may believe she is the cause, that she has done something to him. Yet Jung's insight is clear. She is only the trigger, not the source. The power comes from within him, from the uncharted depths of his own psyche. And this realization can terrify him. Because if the force comes from within, then he must face himself. He must confront what he has long ignored. His vulnerability, his desires, his wounds, his unfinished story. Few men are ready for this confrontation. That is why many withdraw, resist, or even blame the woman, rather than face the mirror she holds. So the mystery grows darker. If she is only the mirror, then what exactly is being reflected? What hidden truth is so powerful that it can turn his ordered world upside down with a single encounter? Carl Jung revealed that every man carries a shadow the hidden side of himself that he denies, suppresses, or refuses to acknowledge. This shadow is not always evil, but it is always unsettling. It contains the emotions he fears, the desires he hides, the memories he buries, and the truths he cannot accept. And when a woman awakens him, she does more than stir his longing. She also stirs his shadow. This is why such an encounter feels so destabilizing. Her presence does not only call forth what is beautiful, it drags forward what is unfinished. He may suddenly feel jealousy, fear of loss, unexplainable anger, or overwhelming dependency. These emotions surprise him because they do not fit the image he has of himself. Yet Jung would say they were always there, sleeping in the shadow, waiting for a spark. Imagine this. A man meets her and feels both fascination and fear. He is drawn to her warmth, but at the same time, he feels threatened by how vulnerable he becomes around her. He may even resent her for making him feel what he cannot control. But Jung would remind us, it is not her fault. She is only reflecting what he has hidden. The discomfort is his own shadow speaking, and here lies the hidden test. If he rejects the shadow, he risks falling into obsession, projection, or despair. He may idealize her, placing on her the weight of everything he cannot accept in himself. Or he may demonize her, blaming her for emotions that truly belong to his own soul. In both cases, he fails the test because he refuses to see the truth. The awakening is not about her, it is about him. But if he dares to face it, if he accepts that what she awakens are his own unfinished depths, then the encounter becomes transformative. The shadow, once faced, is no longer an enemy. It becomes a guide. And through it, he grows into a fuller, deeper self. Still, the question hangs in the air. How many men are willing to face such a mirror? How many can resist the temptation to blame the woman, instead of confronting their own shadow? Jung taught that the ultimate task of the soul is individuation, the process of becoming whole, of uniting what is conscious with what is unconscious, what is accepted with what is denied. This journey is never simple and rarely gentle. It requires a man to face everything within himself, both light and shadow, and to integrate it. Only then can he stand as his true self. Now here is the mystery. Encounters with the anima with the woman who awakens him often serve as the trigger for individuation. Without knowing it, she becomes the spark that sets the entire process in motion. He feels shaken not because she is extraordinary, but because through her, he sees what he has been missing within himself. This is why Jung describes such encounters as destiny-like. They arrive unexpectedly, yet they carry the weight of inevitability. The man may resist, he may deny, he may try to escape, but he cannot undo what has been stirred. Once the unconscious has been activated, the path of individuation has already begun. Picture it. A man lives with a carefully ordered life. He believes he knows who he is. Then suddenly, through her presence, his certainty cracks. He feels longing he cannot name, fears he cannot explain, and possibilities he never imagined. It is as if a curtain has been torn away, revealing a deeper landscape of his own soul. This moment is terrifying, but it is also the first step toward wholeness. Jung warned, however, that individuation is not guaranteed. Many turn away. They run from the mirror, blame the other, or retreat into denial. In doing so, they preserve their old identity, but at a cost, the cost of never meeting their true self. Others, though trembling, step forward. They accept the confrontation, face the shadow, and begin to integrate what was once hidden. For them, the encounter becomes not a curse, but a calling. And here lies the haunting truth. The woman who awakens him may never know the role she played. She may be near or far, present or absent, fleeting or permanent. Yet her impact is eternal, because she was the spark that forced him to face his soul. Individuation, Jung insisted, is the path to freedom. But freedom does not come without risk, because when a man first awakens, he often mistakes the symbol for the source. He believes the woman herself carries the power, when in truth, she is only the reflection. This is where danger arises. Instead of facing his own soul, he becomes entangled in her image. This is what Jung called projection. The man projects his inner world onto her, his hopes, his fears, his desires, his wounds. Suddenly, she becomes larger than life. To him, she is not simply human. She is everything he has longed for, or everything he has feared. And in this state, he cannot see her clearly. He does not see her. He only sees his unconscious shining through her presence. This illusion can become a prison. He may obsess over her, believing he cannot live without her. Or he may blame her for the emotions that overwhelm him. In both cases, he misses the truth. She is not his destiny. She is his mirror. The real work lies within. But if he sees clearly, if he recognizes projection for what it is, then the awakening becomes liberation. He begins to withdraw the projections, reclaiming them as his own. The longing he feels, he understands, is the voice of his soul calling him home. The fear he feels, he accepts, is the shadow demanding to be faced. In this way, she becomes less of a prison and more of a guide and accidental teacher who points him inward. Yet Jung warned, this process is not easy. Few are willing to reclaim what they have projected. It requires honesty, humility, and courage. And this is why so many men remain caught in the illusion, trapped between obsession and denial. They chase the outer image, never realizing the inner treasure they are ignoring. So the riddle remains. Will the man recognize that the true power lies within? Or will he remain lost in projection, forever searching outside what can only be found inside? Jung's final warning was both profound and unsettling. The unconscious does not awaken a man without purpose. These encounters, mysterious and overwhelming, are not accidents. They are summons calls from the depths of the soul, demanding that he grow, transform, and step into his true self. But here lies the danger. If a man ignores the summons, if he clings to denial or obsession, the unconscious does not simply retreat. It continues to press, sometimes through dreams, sometimes through restlessness, and sometimes through suffering. Jung believed that what is not faced within will find ways to appear outside, often in the form of conflict, failure, or repeated heartbreak. In this way, the soul insists on being seen. And yet, for the man who listens, the encounter becomes sacred. He realizes that the woman was never meant to be possessed, nor blamed, nor idolized. She was the carrier of a message, the living symbol of what his inner world needed him to see. Through her, he discovers that the power he sought outside was waiting within all along. This is why Jung describes such experiences as both peril and promise. They can destroy a man who resists, or they can remake a man who dares to answer. The choice is always his. The woman may pass through his life, but the imprint she leaves, the awakening of his unconscious, remains forever. So the mystery closes where it began. The question is not about her. It is about him. What will he do with the mirror she has held before him? Will he look away, or will he finally face the truth of his soul? And now, I leave you with this thought. Perhaps the most haunting encounters of your life were never about the other person at all. Perhaps they were the voice of your own unconscious, calling you to awaken. If you felt the weight of Jung's wisdom today, make sure you subscribe to SYC Soul, hit the bell so you never miss what's coming next, and share this with someone who might need to hear it. Because the mysteries of the soul are far from finished, and the next journey may be even darker. Until then, remember Jung's words. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens.